Hello and welcome to teleSur's from the South. Dominican Republic President Danilo Medina was sworn into a second term on Tuesday. Presidents from around the region, including Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa and Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, attended the ceremony. Medina was re-elected in May by a huge margin. Argentine activists have occupied the Plaza de Mayo to demand the release of indigenous leader Milagros Sala. Sala has been in prison since January. She launched a hunger strike Friday to protest her prison conditions. She's been in solitary confinement and incommunicado for over a week. Sala angered jail officials by continuing political activism behind bars and advocating for the rights of fellow prisoners. Argentine human rights activists believe Sala's detention is politically motivated and an example of the criminalization of protest under President Mauricio Macri. Up to 7 people were injured on Monday after a giant television camera suspended by cables crashed to the ground. A Rio Olympics Park spokesperson confirmed that the black camera, known as a spider cam and used to take aerial shots of the park, fell just outside the basketball stadium early in the afternoon. Onlookers believe the wind was to blame.
The degree of social discontent in Mexico can be measured by the daily street protests and marches that occur in the capital. However, some argue that the right to peaceful assembly and the freedom of speech is muffled by excessive abuse by the authorities.
Not 1 minute had passed before the riot police came and beat me. They didn't ask any questions. They beat us and opened up 2 wounds on my head.
Police repression of protests may become even more common after Mexico City authorities passed a citywide law that requires demonstration organizers to advise the authorities of activities at least 48 hours in advance. Rights defenders argue that this is simply a measure to criminalize social protest.
This is our fundamental concern, that in Mexico they are pushing initiatives that provide the legal and arbitrary use of force or that disproportionately restrict the right to protest.
In recent months, the business sector of Mexico City has attacked authorities for not doing more to stop marches that have reduced profits for many major chain stores. Yet rights defenders argue that instead of criminalizing protest, they should be addressing the root causes of social discontent.
They focus too much on the effects of the protest rather than looking at the root cause. So they only see the protest of the blockade and the effect it might have on another sector of the society.
Rights defenders say they will launch a legal battle to roll back the Mexico City law so that the constitutional rights of free speech and assembly are not threatened. Clayton Khan, teleSur, Mexico City.
Peru has declared a state of an emergency in several districts in the country's southern Arequipa region. This comes as authorities grapple to assist the hundreds of people affected by Sunday's 5.3 magnitude quake. 46 people have died because of the natural disaster. More than 1 million signatures were submitted by Ecuador's collective Rafael Always With You. If the signatures are confirmed, Ecuador's top court will be required to decide the constitutionality of a referendum enabling Correa to run for a 3rd consecutive term. The constitution was amended in December 2015 to allow for unlimited consecutive re-elections of political posts, including that of the president. However, lawmakers included a provisional measure that made it so that the term limits would only be eliminated after May 24, 2017, or after the next general elections. Several airstrikes hit the city of Aleppo in Syria, destroying buildings and killing civilians, including at least 1 child. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, its bombers had targeted Islamic State group militants, destroying arms depots and a militant training camp. The Pentagon has announced that 15 inmates from Guantanamo prison were transferred to the United Arab Emirates. This is the largest transfer from Guantanamo Bay's prison under the Obama administration. 61 inmates are left in the U.S. military-run prison. Dozens gathered in Milwaukee's Sherman Park Monday following the fatal police shooting of Sylville Smith on Saturday. Activists held a community fundraiser and stood on a picket line. Police presence was high among the crowd. The death toll from the massive flooding in Louisiana, United States, has risen to 8. The expanded flood zone prompted authorities to declare disasters in a dozen parishes. According to officials, some 40,000 homes have been impacted by the floods, and more than 8,000 people are in shelters. China has launched the world's first quantum satellite, which uses the latest technology for hack-proof communications. Scientists hope they will be able to establish a wide-range quantum communication network by 2030.
The Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine organized a sit-in protest in solidarity with Palestinian prisoner Bilal Khalid and Lebanese political prisoners George Abdullah in front of the French Culture Center in Western Gaza City Tuesday morning. Dozens of angry protesters raised pictures of Kayed and Abdullah, calling for their freedom. Among those in the crowd were relatives of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli custody. On June 13th, Bilal Kayed was scheduled to be released from a 14.5-year sentence in Israeli jails, but instead he was ordered to 6 months imprisonment without charge or trial. On June 15th, Kayed started an open-ended hunger strike to protest his administrative detention. He was shortly transferred to hospital due to quickly deteriorating health. His doctors say he is currently entering a very critical stage due to loss of fluids and salts. Kayed also suffers from chest, kidney, eye, ear, and leg pain, as well as headache and hair loss. His vision is blurred, his body is numb, and his skin is yellow and peeling.
We are here to confirm our solidarity with Palestinian prisoner Bilal Kayed, who has been on hunger strike for more than 60 days, and with the Lebanese prisoner in the French prisons, George Abdullah.
Thousands of people rallied for Kayed's struggle and freedom in New York, London, and Berlin. His case also promoted hunger strikes by political prisoners in other countries. George Abdullah, a Lebanese political prisoner and an Arab struggler for Palestine, held in Lannemezan prison in France, went on a 3-day hunger strike on August 4th in solidarity with Kayed and all Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Noor Harazin, teleSur TV, Gaza.
And the former head of soccer's ruling body FIFA from 1974 to 1998, João Havelange, has died at the age of 100. Havelange was also a former member of the International Olympic Committee. Havelange oversaw a transformation of FIFA and its flagship World Cup competition into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And that's it for From the South. More on these and other stories on our website, telesurtv.net/English.